everybody, Happy New Year. It is 2022, another year goes by. Not only am I celebrating a brand new year, I am celebrating my 3rd year on YouTube. Thanks to you, you have kept me here doing what I just absolutely love to do, and that is cook. So thank you so much for all the people who have been here with me from the start and all the new people I hope to gain from here on out. So thank you so much for that, and I hope you enjoyed your evening with your family, and I wish you all the very best for this next coming year. I'm going to start you off with a wonderful, much requested recipe that I get through the year for some pozole, some pork red pozole. As you can see here, I have my mound of meat that we're going to start working on right now. I hope you stick around. If you are new here, I sure hope you consider hitting that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and you will be notified every time I upload a video. If you're a regular here, thank you for spending time with me. I know you have lots of options. I appreciate you. Okay guys, I will leave the recipe in the description box below. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. I will get back with you. And let's go ahead and jump on into this recipe. Okay, here I have a shoulder pork butt. This is a bone-in. It has a very large bone running across the meat like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this into smaller chunks. This does have a lot of fat, but I am going to leave it on there, and we will skim this off later as the meat cooks along. So we're going to cut this up into pieces, and I have a pot on the stove with some boiling water. We're going to get this started. Just be careful, cut around the bone. This is a 12-pound chunk, and you want it in kind of chunks this big. You don't want them any smaller than that, because this is going to cook for a good long while. It's going to cook for at least 2.5 hours. So you want it in big chunks like that. And the bone, of course, we're going to leave it in there because that's what's going to give it a whole lot of flavor. Now this piece of fat right here I will remove because that's just too much. I will just leave the piece of meat, and I will cut this out. Okay, and that's it. This is the remainder of the bone. This is how large it is. It does have some more meat right here, but I'm just going to let this be. This is the fat we're going to discard, and I'm going to move you over to the stove. Okay, everybody, we are back at the stove, and as you can see, I have my pot here with some boiling water already, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my onion in here. Okay, I will have the recipe listed below. I'm going to add my onion and my crushed garlic cloves, and we're going to add our salt. Okay, we're going to start off easy with the salt. Later in the recipe, this is where you can adjust how you like your seasoning for the salt. I will list what I use here, but then after it boils a little bit, I always like to taste the food, make sure that everything is coming along as far as flavor. Okay, we have that in there. Now I'm going to add that big hunk of bone that came out of the meat. A lot of that we will peel the meat off of that later after it cooks. Okay, and then I'm going to add in my meat. And be careful because the water, of course, you know it's boiling hot. Don't burn yourself. After it comes to a boil, we're going to skim off the fat. We are going to probably add some more water in here. It's going to shrink down, but we are going to add some more water. Okay, and as you can see, the water doesn't quite cover the pork, so I'm just going to add a little bit more. Plus, I love my pozole more on the soupy side. Some people think of this as stew, some people think of this as soup. You take it for whatever you like. I love it with more broth. So we're going to let this cook down just a little bit more, just to where it's covering the meat all the way. Okay, so we're going to bring this to the boil. We're going to turn it down, skim the fat, and we're going to let it cook for 1.5 hours. Start timing once it starts to boil. Okay, we're back. As you can see, we have to skim this fat. You're going to do it a couple of times before this is all clear. So just try to get as much as you can. Okay, and then you just keep skimming it as it keeps cooking, and we'll be back. Okay, now we're gonna get the chile guajillo and the chile ancho ready for our seasoning for the pozole. We're gonna cook this like a salsa, but what I like to do is I like to take the seeds and the veins out. And to do that, it's very easy. You can either cut them in half, oops, just like that. Open them up and take the little veins out if you can. If you can't, no biggie. Just take out what you can. And then I like to cut them into smaller pieces and throw them in my pot. So I'm going to keep going with these. See how many seeds that has? Has a lot of seeds. Okay, now we're going to move on to the chile ancho. I don't put as many as I do of the guajillo. I just put about 3 big. These are pretty large, so we're going to go about 3. Okay, now I'm going to give these a rinse, add some water, and put them to boil on the stove. Okay, here I have the chile. We're just going to simmer these. It doesn't take long, maybe 10 minutes, and that's about it. We're going to let them seep for a while before we throw them into the blender and puree them. Okay, everybody, the chiles are ready. I am going to blend them and puree them until they're very, very smooth. Still a little hot, but not too bad. And I am going to add some of the water from here. Okay, I'm going to add the rest of the water. It's a little thick. Okay, and there we go. That's what it looks like. Okay, before we add our red sauce to the pork that's cooking, we are going to run it through a sieve because you don't want any of the skin of the chile. I'll just add some water to this and just run it through the sieve. And whatever you don't use, if you don't put the whole amount in there, just put it into a Ziploc freezer bag in portions, and you can have it to make enchiladas or, you know, some other kind of meat with this chile, and it won't go to waste. That's what I do. I always make extra to have for other meals. See how much skin is in there? And you really don't want that floating around. You don't want to bite into it. Okay, you see how much skin that is? I'm going to bring you in real close. You don't want that into your broth, so you want to make sure and get that out. Okay, that's it. So now we're just going to wait for the meat to get to where we need it before we add this and the hominy, which I'm going to show you right now. Okay, this is the hominy. This is 2 large cans, 30 ounces. I did give them a good rinse. We're going to hold back on these until we're ready to pour in our chile. And back here I have a little sneak peek of some salsa, some very hot, very good hot sauce that I like to make with the pozole. We have chile de arbol, which are these, very spicy, some chile serranos, some onion, some green tomatillos, and 2 cloves of garlic. And we're going to get this to cook here in just a few minutes. Okay, everybody. This has been cooking down for about 2 hours, and I pushed the meat up against the pot. This is hot. I pushed the meat and it's starting to fall apart. See how it just kind of breaks off in pieces? So that means that we're ready to go for the chile to put it in for the sauce. Okay, there's the bone. We're going to leave that guy in there because that gives us a lot of flavor. And we are going to add the hominy as well. I put this in a measuring cup so that I could write down exactly how much I used and write it down for y'all. Okay, we still need a little bit more. Gonna mix this and get this back up boiling, and we're gonna add our hominy. And after we do that and it comes back up to the boil, we're gonna give it a taste. We're gonna see if the salt is okay. You know, we're gonna add our hominy. Just don't splash yourself. This looks delicious. Okay, let's get this back up to the boil. Okay, now that this is finally coming up to the boil, I'm going to give it a taste to see if we need to add some salt. And we do. That's why you have to taste your food as you go. Season well. And there we go. And then you adjust it however you like it. That's totally up to you. Okay, we're going to let this boil for another hour and we'll be back. Alright, while we're waiting for our pozole to finish cooking, I put our hot sauce to boil. I have the tomatillos, the serranos, the chile de arbol, piece of onion, and some garlic. So we're going to boil this for a couple of minutes. We're going to chop it in the blender. Alrighty, here we go with the hot sauce. This is pretty hot, so you can adjust it the way your family likes it. But after the New Year's, you know, everybody's been out drinking and they probably feel terrible, and this is a good remedy. Fix everybody right up with this hot sauce. Okay, we're going to put a little bit of the water, not too much. We're going to see how it blends. And put it on our blender, and we put some salt. Cover her up. Okay, we're done. Okay, let's plate this up. Alrighty, now that our meat has finished cooking, see how the bone falls off all by itself? We're going to take this out just so that we can have room for our meat, and you can discard that. I'm going to grab some bigger pieces of the meat. We are going to break them up into smaller bits, and we'll leave some whole. See how easily it breaks up here? You just break it up just like that. Makes it easier to serve, to plate it up, and everybody gets some of the meat. And then you just pour it back in, just like that. You don't have to do all of it because, of course, it's going to continue to fall apart as it sits there. You can even just smash it in here and it'll break up. It's so tender. Okay, that's ready. Let's go ahead and we'll plate this up. Alrighty, everything is ready. Let's go ahead and plate some of this up and have a taste. I cannot wait. I like to go in for the pozole, of course. Look at that. Yummy. Ooh-wee. And you see how you can get a bigger chunk of meat and smaller shredded part. And of course you serve your family however you like. If you want to serve a lot, serve a lot. Look at that. Okay, let's go ahead and go over to the table and give this a taste. Okay everybody, here is the finished product. This is my version of Pozole Rojo, red pozole. And what I like to accompany it with is some onions, some diced onion. You put as much or as little as you want. We have some lime. And of course some radishes. Alrighty, so we put our radishes, and then I started to add some cabbage. A lot of people use lettuce. You can use either one. It's delicious either way. And then of course our fiery hot sauce. You put as much as you want. And look at this. Doesn't this just look delicious? The meat is just so tender. Very, very tender. I really do hope you give this recipe a try. Okay, let's go in for the bite. Enough yakking. Mmm. 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 That's a double thumbs up. This is so good. Hits the spot right now. Yummy. Delicious. And wow, that hot sauce, you better watch out because it is super hot. Very, very hot, but it is delicious. Okay guys, thank you for joining me here at my table. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. leave a comment down below. That really helps out the channel. And if you have any questions about the recipe, leave it in the comments and I will get back with you. Okay guys, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Virtual Kitchen with Laura, and we will see you soon. Happy New Year. Bye.